Look at that. Mary Pepper is on the call. Ghost Ranch fame. Yeah. Of Harry Eyeball Ghost Ranch fame. No volume is what Kate says. Oh, that's never good. Well, maybe that's intentional. Maybe I don't want it. I want you to hear me. Can you guys hear me now? Good evening, Marilyn. Better, says Kate. All right. Very good. As we are entering, crafts are here and we can hear. I like that. As you guys are entering, a reminder that if you want to talk or pass notes to each other during the course of this webinar, you want to use the chat function, and you find that right by hitting, seems like we are all experts at this now, but you find that by hitting the chat button at the bottom of your screen. That opens up a little, if you're on a desktop or a laptop, it should open up a little white colored window on your right hand side, and you can chat there. And make sure, if you want to chat to everybody, that at the to button, or the to heading rather, above, it's like a blue box. It says to, and then there's a blue box. Make sure it's selected to all panelists and attendees. If it only says all panelists, Barb and I are the only people that are going to be able to see it. And if you're going to write something witty, you really want everybody to be able to see it, not just Barb and myself. So make sure you make that change. We'll just wait a couple more minutes while folks still arrive. And there's some, Jim, why don't you rewrite that and send that note to everybody, not just the panelists, but all panelists and attendees, because that is a good point you just made. And we'll get started in, like, I'd say 2 or 3 minutes. It's a pretty classic crew that's assembled here tonight. Yeah. There you go. Thanks, Jim. Doing that. Yep. Adam, please speak louder. I have a feeling it might be the microphone setup. So, what I'll do here,
how's that? Is that better? Can you hear me now? A little better? Okay, excellent. So we have a very interesting kind of setup here tonight. We are running this laptop, but of course there's only so much you can see on the laptop. So I've also got my phone with me that I'm going to turn the camera on the phone shortly to help you kind of see what Barb is going to be showing us all on the organ, and it's also what we're going to use when we go inside the organ. It's pretty steady, but if you get motion sick, maybe now's a good time to eat a ginger cookie. Now we are echoing. Oh yes, right. Okay, how about that? That might be better now. So there we go. We're getting this figured out. It's a little tricky doing this. At any rate, I'm Adam Waite, Minister of Music here at Montview Boulevard Presbyterian Church. This is Barbara Hulac, who is the Associate Minister of Music here at Montview Church and our fabulous organist for the past 42-ish years. Yep. She started playing here when she was 9. So, you know, the child labor laws back in the 70s were really loose child labor laws. So at any rate, and we're excited to welcome you to our second sacred, what do we call it? Summer Sacred Music Seminar. Last week we were with Nancy Galbraith, which was tons of fun. This week we are here in the Montview Sanctuary, about to give you guys an organ tour. Interestingly enough, Barb, I just realized this. This is the first Thursday night you and I have been physically together since the pandemic struck. Yep. So last time we were together on a Thursday night in the physical same space was, I guess, the first week of March.
Yes.
That's kind of crazy. So at any rate, so we're excited about that. We are maintaining some social distance. It is a ski length between us. It's a child small ski length between us, but it's a ski length. We've seen each other quite a bit, not on Thursday nights, but on other days over the past. It's practically like we're quarantining together, Barb, really. I should come over for salmon sometime. So at any rate, yeah, we're not going to try to breathe on each other, though Barb will be playing some wind instruments. So I think we have our quorum here. So I think we're going to get started. So here's what I'm going to do is Barb's going to be doing most of the presenting here. I'll be asking her some questions. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on the chat. I would suggest maybe going to speaker view at one point so you can get full screen what I'm going to be showing you on the phone, if that makes sense. And yeah, and we'll try to get your questions answered along the way. Like I said, it's a little bit of a tricky setup up here, and it's the first time we're ever doing anything like this. We shall see. Okay, so let me turn this on so you all can see. There we go. There's Barb at the organ. I'm going to turn this video off. So, all right, Barb, you are on.
Hey. So I thought I'd just start with how fitting for this space, a short prelude, just to give you a taste of the organ. And okay. Then I'll start talking about it.
Okay, now wait 1 second, Barb.
That, and go ahead.
Okay. That was great, Barb.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
And opening with not quite full organ. Organs are notoriously difficult to record. And I hope that you're hearing a wonderful sound on the other end. A bag of whistles. I've heard the organ described. Here's an organ pipe. This particular one is called a stopped pipe. It looks as though it has, for those of you old enough to remember, a darning egg in the top of it. It sounds an octave below the length of the pipe. And this one sounds like this. Another organ pipe. This one's seen better days. It's leaning just ever so slightly. Has a cap on the top to tune. It raises and lowers. And the organ tuners use just a little thing that pushes that up and down in small amounts. Sounds like this.
There you go.
So, the organ. The first mention of an organ is in ancient Greece in the 3rd century BC, and it's called a hydraulis. It was water powered. The next mention of an organ comes from 10th century in Winchester Cathedral in England. It had 400 pipes, much like the ones I showed you, only those are of a relatively short length. It needed 2 men to play it and 70 men
Oh my gosh.
to blow it. And with all of that, it could be heard throughout the city of Winchester.
So we could, if we ever had like a power failure, we could conceivably have the Westminster Choir just blow into the wind chest and we'd be good to go. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
All right.
So many pieces to an organ, and where to start. As mentioned, I talked about the pipes. They come in all lengths. And if we rotate the camera back toward the great division, you will see some that are about as big as my pinky finger, and some of them that are indeed 16 feet tall at the lowest note.
And we'll get back there after Barb's done showing us the console, which is what we call this, where the musician / operator sits. So you can see this up closer, but just so we're clear, those pipes in the middle that are not enclosed, that is called the great, those are the great pipes, great division.
Here's another one. Those are the pipes that the bass and tenors hear in their ears on Sunday mornings.
You tell me basses and tenors actually listen? Sorry, guys. Couldn't help myself.
The pipes on the side, those big wooden ones, sound like this. That's the pedal contrabass. Now I'd go on to say of pipes that you'll note that there's 61 keys on an organ keyboard. Piano is a good bit longer. And I should say, there's 1 pipe per every note for every stop. And my calculations of the other night, there are 4,374 pipes. It's the chancel organ. That includes what we call the gallery organ. Now, some kinds of sounds of pipes. The flue stops, much like those pipes that I blew into early on, include flutes, strings, and something called a diapason. No instrument called a diapason, but it's called the principal sound of the organ. It sounds like this. There are string pipes that are meant to imitate the strings of an orchestra. You can be the judge as to whether these are successful. They're lovely stops no matter.
As you may have guessed, these are on Holy, 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 using first an 8-foot flute and a 2-foot flute. And I'll say more about my in a little bit here.
Hold that thought for 1 second.
So let me just share with everybody. I'm going to flip mine around so you can see. Hi, everyone. Just so you know, we're there from a technical standpoint, trying to run when Barb is playing the organ, it through a different microphone that kind of picks up the organ a little bit better, but then I've got to change microphones to pick up Barb a little bit better. So there might be a couple of times where maybe you're not hearing Barb's voice as well. So, but I'll try to be on top of that. Just so you know, that's kind of what's going on this end. Okay, now that's enough of seeing my face this close. Let's go back to Barb.
This next variation, we have, again, the swell flute 8. It's called a roar flute, and have added in another family of sound for the organ, the reeds. The reeds have resonators. They actually have reeds that vibrate back and forth. And there are also quite a variety of reeds on Montview's organ. This particular one is the crumhorn on the solo division.
So let me just hit this button here. And
Button there and go ahead. Take it away.
So that has introduced to you the families of sounds that are available on organs. Now there's something else called a mutation, which sounds like a very odd word to apply. These are pipes. I should go back and say a little bit more about pipe length. Organ pipes start at 16 foot. That means that the lowest note of that rank of pipes, 61 pipes for each stop, is 16 feet in length. They get smaller, of course, as they come up the scale. Let's see. So there's 16-foot stops, 8 foot. That's the kind of the middle of the range. That would correspond to the piano. At 4 foot, you have an octave higher. 8 foot, 4 foot. Here comes a 2 foot. And then we have these things called mutations. And if I play, let's say whoop, there. That's an A. If I play A on this stop, it's actually playing the D. That's called 2 2/3. Then we have a 1 3/5, another strange length. And what these mutations do is add color to the sound of the organ. So here's a short piece. This is not the full thing by Clarambeau. And
So Barb, we're
yes.
getting a couple questions coming in.
Yep.
All right. So first one, which is kind of more on what you were just talking about, Jim Kraft wants to know, are mutations the same as mixtures?
No, they aren't.
Okay. Do you want to explain to us the difference between a mutation and a mixture?
Yes. A mixture is a stop that can be, I suppose they're 2-rank mixtures. This particular organ has a 3-rank mixture. We also have a couple of 4-rank mixtures. And so that is when I play one note with a 3-rank, I get 3 different pitches. Here is the 4-rank mixture on the grate. And actually, as I start at the bottom, you'll hear it kind of go back and repeat.
So as it's going up towards that end there, those top additions are dropping out because there's no more pipes, or am I just not hearing the frequencies?
They are dropping out. It's also called a break, and it goes back to and starts the series over again. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a great question. Okay, yeah, and Kate is asking, I think somebody else asked this too. No, it was Kate both times. She's persistent. So Kate wants to know, what the heck are the knobs that you're pulling on?
Ah, very good question. Yeah, these are called stop knobs. Let's see, you can, which
Why don't you
direction?
pull some over here because I can get
Okay. So here's a flute knob. There's a 4-foot flute, a 2-foot flute.
I don't know if folks can, let me see if I can see this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So where did that 2-foot flute go?
It's right up on.
Yeah, see. So it tells you what it is,
Yes.
and then it also gives you a number signifying the pipe length.
Yes.
And so, of course, or maybe not of course, but just so we're all clear, the difference between that 2-foot and 4-foot is an octave. Right. So if Barb just plays is it only the 2 that's pulled right now? No, you want to just push those other in.
Yeah.
So if you
So
listen.
here's at the.
Okay. And now she's going to push that 2 in and pull out 4. You hear how it sounds an octave lower.
And then the 8-foot
The 8-foot.
and the 16-foot, which might not carry
that might
very
not.
well.
And Jim Kraft is asking, I told Jim, by the way, before this, that his one question a session was not, you didn't have to worry about that for these webinars. But Jim is asking, when you pull the stop, does that mean then all 61 pipes are enabled and ready to go?
Yes.
Yep. Yep. And then John Gerner is mentioning, and for those of you who don't know, I know most of you know that are on the call, but some of you are guests to this call, maybe not members of Montview, or are members of Montview but not associated with our music program. John Gerner is a member of the choir, but is also the man that's responsible for filming the music portions of Montview at home. And so John wrote in on some prelude and postlude videos, you can see the stops automatically being pulled or pushed when Barb hits the preset. They, being the people watching the video, can watch for it. Do you want to, maybe tell us a little bit about the presets? Is that a good time to do that right now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's a very good time. So the presets enable me to set many, many sounds and to change quickly too. So if I'm playing along with this, which has a pretty...
Yeah, let me just show them real quick here how much stuff is pulled out. And then also, I think, I'm sure maybe Barb already mentioned this, but you notice how, I'll point here, that these stops are grouped by division, right? So we got your pedal stops here, and you can see this little kind of dividing line. And so all that stuff to the left of that line are the pedal, and then you move over here, and you've got the swell, okay? And those are all the swell stops there. And if you go over there, and excuse my reach, hold your breath, Barb. There, there is the grate. Okay, those are the pipes in the middle. Over here is the choir. We'll make sure that that's clear as far as which pipes are where and which manual or keyboard they're associated with. And then finally, there's the solo, okay? And you can see there's quite a few pulled out of these right now. Where did you estimate, Barb, about?
Oh gosh. I don't know, 25, 30, something like that.
25 or 30 stops.
Is a guess.
And so what Barb is demonstrating here is the real issue at hand when you're playing organ music. You need to change sounds quickly, because this is the only way you change dynamics on the organ. Right. It does not make any difference the way that you hit the key on like my finger making an appearance in this video. The way you hit a key on the organ, right? So unlike a piano, right? A piano, if you press the key soft, it's going to play soft. If you press the key hard, Barb can bang away on these keys. It's not going to make a difference in the world. It's still going to be the same volume. It all has to do with how many pipes are playing. So it's a volume consideration. It's also obviously a sound consideration, type of sound, timbre sound, as you were explaining to us.
Right.
So I think I've said enough.
The other interesting thing about the organ as opposed to the piano is that if my finger's on the note, the sound stays the same, and it could go on forever and ever and ever. Not true on the piano. Already the piano sound would have decayed. But I can't vary the volume of that at all.
And another great point that you just made me think of, there's no sustain pedal on the organ. Right. So as soon as you lift up that note, it's gone. Yep. I mean, I guess it's reverberating around the space, but it's not like a piano. So playing organ music, you know, for instance there, right? So that half or dotted half note that Barb needs to play in her right hand, she needs to have that note pressed down for a full 3 beats. Whereas if she was playing that on the piano, she might not do that. She might hit it and release it and have the sustain pedal going, especially something like this that's adagio.
Yeah.
It would actually almost be unusual for a pianist to keep their finger depressed for the full 3 beats. So there's that difference as well when it comes to kind of organ performance practice.
Right.
We're getting some more questions. I knew this was going to happen.
It's okay. It's a
Let's see here.
organ.
Mark, which I'm not sure if that's, it's just Mark with a C, so it makes me think it might be Mark Chusid, writes in, are stops specified on the sheet music? That's a great question.
Sometimes. This piece that I'm playing for you based on Holy, Holy, Holy says something to the effect, it gives me dynamic markings. It says 8 and 2, but you know, 8 and 2, who knows which 8 and 2 foot stop there. Bach would have absolutely nothing registration-wise unless the editor decided to put something in there. More contemporary music will have registration suggestions. Now, the challenge is that when you're playing a piano, every piano, aside from, you know, Steinway and a little Baldwin spinet, will play the same music. Organs are really individual. Ours is somewhat similar to some organs in town, but it has its own idiosyncratic bits to it. And so the organist learns pretty early on to substitute just to go with what might sound really good on their particular instrument.
That's a great point. Let me show real quick on the music here.
Yeah.
This, what Barb was talking about. So there is just the simple marking 8 and 2 foot. Right, and you can see she's written in top there, okay, I'm going to be playing that on the swell, and she's obviously picked out some stops that she likes for that combination.
Let's see what the clarinet. Yeah, there was a little bit in there.
Yeah. So this tells you here at the top, that's the P, right? Tells you what you should be having in the positive.
Yeah.
And the G is in the great.
Right.
I was going to say, I would think the P for pedal would be below.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes it will even mark, right? So here it tells you, okay, you need to start on the great. And then here you're switching the right hand only to the positive. And here you're back to the right hand on the great, while the left hand has stayed on the great throughout.
Right. And these are all actually in parentheses saying that the editor is the one who decided that.
Oh, there you go. Yep, good point.
The only thing that the composer put in there would have been Nizard, which is this stop, which
right. That's that mutation stop.
Yep.
Again, that Nizard is playing a fifth off from where Barb is playing the note, if that makes sense. Let's answer just a couple other questions and then we'll keep moving on here. This is super fun. Someone's asked, does everyone know the names of the manuals? So
most likely not.
Most likely not,
Yeah.
although we could take a quick quiz. No, let's just tell them.
Okay, so the main manual of the organ is the great. Now, ironically, when you look at ours, it's number 2 from the bottom. French organs often have the great division on the very bottom. Down here is what's called the choir manual.
And the choir, so we showed the great before, and the great are the ones right
Yes.
there. The choir, look at that, I've got my pointer finger going, is over there. And the choir pipes are enclosed.
Yes.
And presently, it's kind of hard to tell on the video because there's a lot of reflection going on, but the shutters are open, okay?
Mhm.
And so maybe while I'm showing that, let me just bring the camera down here. And there are these pedals down here, these expression pedals that allow Barbara to open and close those shutter doors. She has her foot right now on, I don't know if you can read that, but it says choir above it. I mean, not that there's really much point in having a sign up there. It's not like you're reading that.
I can't see it, no.
But at any rate, so now let me, since we can do this, let me move a little closer. And you can maybe see these, sorry for the light going on there, but, all right, so now we're up close to this, and Barb has pushed that pedal down, which then closes those shutter doors. Might be hard to tell the difference in the volume. And then she's gonna push the pedal open again. You see how those shutter doors open and close. Gotta make sure I don't trip and fall on my way back here.
What that tells me actually is that those shutters aren't closing quite all the way,
Oh.
because I can still see the light through them. The Swell manual has a similar open and
So the swell is over here.
close.
And you can see that pretty well here in the video. Do it one more time for us, Barb, if you don't mind. See the shutters open and close. I always thought it was cool how they don't all close at once. They do that
Right,
staggered.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have choir, great, swell, and up here is the solo division, which is also, quote, under expression. It has shutters like these on the swell and the choir. They're hiding back there.
Yeah, they're
They're not
behind,
visible.
right? You can't see the solo. They're behind the great
Yes,
pipes.
yes, under the window.
Yeah, under the window, exactly, yeah. And there are some pretty honking pipes back there,
Uh-huh.
Barb. You gonna give us
Yeah.
some? Nice. I can't quite make out. Deborah Sampson wants to know, can you talk about coupling? Might be an okay time to do that, I suppose,
Yep.
since we were just talking about manuals.
Yes. And so depending on how I want to play a piece, or even if I want the sound to grow, I have something called couplers. Here is a great, some stops on the grate by themselves. putting in the swell. And then I could add.
Oh boy.
And then we have some pretty big sound.
So that, just to make that clear, that's what these
Yes.
buttons, well, I guess they're not really buttons. What would you, switches? Call them?
There's a name for them.
Yeah.
That escapes me at the
They're
moment.
all up here, and you can see what they're how they're labeled. So that takes this the swell, and it also changes the octave, or not changes the octave, but how would you say it?
It would. Let's
Yeah.
see, where's the choir to grade 4? So here's the choir.
So the point there is, so Barb hit the choir to grade
Or,
down, right? Just like
Yeah.
the 16.
yep,
I don't know if you guys are able to hear that, but essentially she has it set one way in the choir, and then the coupler that she chooses to bring it over to the grate can change the octave of those choir. As far as it's not necessarily changing the octave of the pipes, it's still the same pipes, but it's the
Right.
way that it's interpreting how the keys are then activating which pipes.
Mhm.
So if she plays this G, right, it's an octave lower because she has the 16 couple
Yeah.
selected.
you can hear it more obviously there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So back to the presets,
Mhm.
did we kind of ever fully show those off?
No.
Okay.
I tend to say to louder. I just find it easier to work that way. Because this has a computerized s-
Kind of like-
processing system. There, you will see here, these are called general pistons. They affect every division on the organ, and there are 10 of them.
Can you just reset it, and then let's go ahead and, you want to hit like 9 or 10? And we'll just watch how many pop out here.
Mm-hmm. So there's nothing out at the moment. Here's 9. And 10 actually takes off a couple of things. Here's 8, 7. So and the other piece of this is I can change all of these anytime at all.
Right.
Which has been immensely useful. I was recalling today as I was sitting here that when I first started playing Montview's organ, I was taking lessons from David McCormick, and there were 10 general pistons, period.
Oh,
And David, Jerry, and I, who was practicing on the instrument, all shared 10
wow.
general pistons.
Wow.
Now there are 99 levels, and
Times 10.
yeah.
And I think it's what's neat is that you might be wondering, well, if Barb these same pistons
Yep. Right
down
down
here.
here.
So you can make those piston changes. Not that
Right. Well, and we haven't quite covered everything, have we, either?
have we? No, we have not.
No, because there's something on the organ called the crescendo pedal.
Ah, yes.
And here you go from silent. Let's see how well graded I did. Yes.
Okay, so do that one more time.
Mhm.
Does everyone understand what's going on? Barb is
I'll
talking
get
about this
my
thing called a crescendo pedal.
Pedal.
And so I always loved how that was in the same position as the gas pedal on a car.
Yeah, yeah. It's very handy.
Yep.
And you'll notice that you may not have been able to see, but none of the stop knobs came out when that was in operation.
You do have a little, and this isn't the case on all organs, but you do have a little numeric,
Yes.
so you can kind of tell where you're at
Where you are.
from a scale, what, like 1 to 99 or something like that?
Yeah.
So that's
Actually,
helpful.
this one goes up to 60.
Oh, 60.
60 steps, yeah.
Good.
The one other gadget
Yes.
on the organ is called the Sforzando.
Oh, yes.
And
What
here you go.
I should have put my earplugs
You
in.
should have put your earplugs in it. I don't think I
Yeah,
have
it's
any extra ones. I just
Probably
have
not
an
sterilized.
eraser.
Yeah, they're probably
No,
not
they're
COVID
not.
safe.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's when you need it all.
Yep.
And you need it in a hurry.
Yep. That's exactly right. Yeah.
I tell you what, let's, what I'm gonna do is we have some more questions that have come through that don't necessarily require looking at the organ.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn this laptop back on. So guys, we're gonna just go away for a second. Okay, so now we're back on the laptop. Can everyone hear me okay? Yes? Good. Okay. So, let's see here. Yes, so we have some questions about the organ maker and builder, the age of the organ, what is done for maintenance. Oh, Susan. And how do you avoid getting a stiff neck? Do they know about our large-boned Nordic man who is your on-staff masseuse? More importantly, does Pete know about him? Anyway, and yeah, Kim Kirkwood has some similar questions. Was this organ built when the sanctuary was built? Do organs have an average life or need specific maintenance other than tuning? That is a great question. Will Tracy is asking, what is the monetary value of an organ like this? Minus the operator. Well, should I hold this up in front of, talking about the history of the organ? I can hold this up in front of the camera, if you'd like.
Yeah, or I can answer
Yeah.
a couple of those questions.
Oh, sure.
At least right off. Yes, the organ was installed and was built by the Waite Organ Company when the sanctuary was new. It has since been rebuilt in 2001 by our local organ maintenance company, Morell and Associates, Rick Morell, and Don Belshaw, Todd, who did the beautiful casework. If you ever get a chance to come up and see the organ console casework, He's the one who also did the case on the chapel organ, which we will show you tonight.
Yes.
Let's see, the other.
Yeah, so, well, as far as
So
kind of to, right, to kind of maintenance, but going back just a little bit to clarify. So when it was rebuilt in 2001, or
Yes,
yeah, the council was completely changed.
right.
This is a completely new council, and Barb, in fact, did you bring that up with you, or is
I
that still?
did not.
That's okay. Maybe we'll post it up onto like the Westminster Choir Facebook page or something.
Yeah.
There's a great picture that was in the Denver Poster or some another Denver newspaper of this council being hoisted up by a crane and put into place here. That was the only way they could get it up here, and it's all communicates via electronic signals. So there's essentially a umbilical cord, right, that runs, or a few electrical umbilical cords that run into the organ. So that's how that works. There are some organs, older organs, tracker organs, where it's all mechanical.
Right.
But this is not, I mean, obviously there's a great deal of mechanical to it, but from the console to the pipes, it's an electronic electricity. So that one, can you tell though quickly, like maybe just take 30 seconds. We added some pipes, we took some pipes out in 2001 as well.
Yes.
Like some solo?
Actually added some things to the great division, a 16-foot quintutin, the harmonic flute, this roar flute. We changed the bright mixture. Ooh,
Oh,
that one needs
a little work.
organ tuner. And added trumpets to the grate. Which are a contrast to this. And here's the swell trumpet.
Oh, that's cute.
We added a couple of things to the swell division. I do have a whole list, and if you would really love to see it, I'd be more than happy to share.
Well, and it's also up on the Morel and Associates website.
Yes.
So if you just search Morel, M-O-R-E-L, and Associates, Denver, it will come right up first thing. And on top of their page, it actually says Montview Presbyterian, and you click on that, and it will give you a whole stop list or the whole run of how they built out the organ in 2001. So that could be, if you really want to dig a little deeper, that's a great way of doing that. So yeah, let's talk about for a bit. Well, actually, let's hold on the maintenance question, because I think that might be good to talk about when we go into the organ. Let's see. Okay, do organs have an average life? Kim had asked before. And well, we could talk about quickly the pouches, which was a major renovation project that we just underwent.
Yes.
Gives us an opportunity to thank all the folks that donated to that.
Yes.
So thank you, if you're watching. Thank you.
And believe it or not,
Have you sprayed this with Lysol?
Oh, yes.
I shouldn't be making jokes about this. Anyway, that's a pouch.
That's a pouch. And there's one for every single pipe on this organ.
Every single pipe has one of these. And these are supposed to last 50 years if you're lucky.
Yeah, probably will in Denver.
Yep.
Because of the dry.
And ours actually lasted a little longer than 50 years.
Yep.
But all of these had to be replaced. And as you can imagine, that's a very tedious process.
Yes.
And we're done now, right? Are we done?
Mhm.
We, like we're the ones that did it.
There's some more to do on the front organ.
Right. Yeah. That's good. So in that regard, it does have. Heidi, oh, what do those do? What do those pouches do? Heidi wants to ask.
Oh,
Yeah, so they're kind of the way that the air is, right, let into the pipe.
yeah.
It's kind of the best way of describing it. So you can kind of imagine it as a little bit of a seal for the pipe that prevents air from getting in. I don't even know what I'm doing. I actually don't know how these exactly work. I'm just kind of putting my hand here. But essentially, when you press the key, the electrode or whatever is triggered, and the pouch allows the air to come in. You're welcome, Heidi. So at any rate, that's kind of how that goes. Let's see. Will wanted to know the monetary value of the organ. What did we find out? It's in the millions.
Yeah, it is.
Is it 3 million?
Gone up significant. It's the last figure I remember. It's about 100,000.
Yeah, I think it's insured for something like $3.5 million.
Yeah.
So that's that. Priceless indeed.
Yes.
Mary Hansen noticed something. She's like, a Hammond B3 stop? Are there synthesized sounds you can access?
Oh, yes, there are.
Yes.
Right.
So
It's been a while.
it has. But let me see. I can just maybe pull the laptop out. Can you pull that out one more time? And maybe, I don't know if folks can kind of make that out. There's a little.
It's called the Allen Ensemble Division. And this is the way I have played chimes, but it's been.
It takes actually a postdoctorate degree just to get this thing to work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's just a synthesizer of the chimes. So when we play the chimes on a Sunday morning, I'd say 98% of the time it's that.
Yep.
On a rare occasion, we'll have somebody in the back playing our actual chime set. But
Yes.
Most times it's Barb playing those synthesized chimes. Yeah.
And the synthesized voices have quite an array. I think there's a thunderstorm on there.
Gunshot.
There's gunshot on
Yep.
there.
Just everything you could
Everything
need.
you could ever want.
And Nancy is just saying, talk about MIDI, and all MIDI is just a computer language, kind of universal computer language code that musical instruments were, somewhere in the 1970s or 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
Folks decided, we have to kind of have a way for these synthesized instruments to be able to talk to each other in a universal way of doing that. And that's how MIDI was developed. So that is how that particular device works. So it's conceivable we could also bring up like a little keyboard up here and plug it into that device and play all those same sounds that Barb was just playing. Those are great questions, everybody.
Yeah.
I think we have to it's already 8:05. Can you believe it? I know, these things go quick. All right. So let's go into the organ, shall we?
Yes.
Let's do it. This is going to be very exciting. This is a good time to take that Dramamine, by the way. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go back to the phone. Oh, and you're getting a good shot of my finger. Hello. All right. There we go. Oh, yes, I'm definitely no John Grinner. Now, the trick about this, Am I going to be able to see the chat going? Chat. Not really. I'll pull up the chat every once in a while. It's a little hard to have the chat running while got the camera running too. We'll go this way. But at any rate, so what we'll do is we'll kind of show you the inside of the organ, and then I'll be able to kind of then pull up the chat window and we can check some questions, and that will be that. So let me just turn this around real quick. There goes Barb. So we've pulled off these two panels from the bottom of the choir, and we are about to jump in. My apologies in advance if the lighting in some spots isn't the best. Hope you're all praying for me. Barb can do this a little bit easier than I can. It's all that yoga she does. I'm coming, Barb. Watch your head, Adam.
Yes, yes, yes.
And here we are. Ooh. I just bumped into $30,000 worth of pipes. Okay, we're good. So, Barb, why don't you tell us, where are we right now?
We're in the choir division, and you can see pipes here that have, I hope that you can see the spots in the middle. They're a mixture of tin and lead. And the more of the mixture, the more spotted the pipes. The tops of those look more solid in color. And then the lowest ones are more uniform yet.
All right.
And you can see how they run from tiny all the way to
Tallish.
They're up there. Yeah.
They're up there.
We also have behind Adam the electronics that are part of the organ. They're not original. That was part of the rebuild.
Oh, this is good. I actually can see some chat messages. So John was asking what stop we're seeing. So this is the viola.
Yeah.
So these are some of the strings.
Yes.
And we're within the choir division right now. And eventually I'm going to trade places with Barb and get up on that ladder and give you a good shot. But let's go over here.
Over here we have a reed stop,
The bombard.
which has, this is called the resonator down here. And its tuning is accomplished in a much different fashion than the tuning caps that are, I'm going to keep my fingers off of them.
But I think we should say that again, because that was at the beginning of the presentation.
Yes.
I think we've bombarded them
With
lots
a lot
of
of information.
But those
Yeah.
tuning caps, so Barb's doing a good job not touching them because she doesn't want to mess anything up.
But
go
they
ahead
go either up or down to lengthen the pipe or shorten the pipe just a little bit so it's in tune with its neighbors. The best question is the organ ever completely in tune? No, it isn't. We did have the whole thing repitched at one point, but then, yeah, different sizes, different metals react differently to changes in temperature.
How often do we get it tuned?
They will spot tune it, meaning that I'll develop a list of things that are sounding really awful. Maybe once every 3 or 4 months, or if I can't live with it, I call them and say, please, please.
I wonder if I...
There's there and look at so
Cool. Kind of see the.
they're all bent. And it's just that there isn't room for them.
And what do we call them up there? How they're bent up there? What is that called again?
That's called a
Bend out. Okay. Dennis, I saw a question from Dennis Cole. To know how many people it takes to tune it.
at least two. One at the console, of course, and one of them back in the chamber.
Okay. Says the sound is cutting out a little bit. My apologies for that. Yeah, I guess it just is what it is. But at least hopefully you can see some of this stuff. Oh, the bend is called a miter. That's what the bend is called. Barb, I think I'm going to switch places with you on that ladder so y'all can see all of these pipes in the choir. So here we go. So that kind of gives you a cool shot.
Yeah.
And you can see there's some wood ones. I don't know if you can make that out. What are those? Do you know what those wood pipes are in the choir?
No. Maybe if I go around this way.
And there's the backs of those shutter doors. Yeah, there's some small ones, all right.
Caps on them
Yep.
right here with red.
So, you staying out there, Barbie? Coming back in? Take them in there, but we should. Where'd she go? Where's Barb? She's coming. There she is. I can just go up there and open that up, huh? Where does that take us into the
The solo.
solo? Yeah. All right. Coming with me, choir. Let's see what we can. And is this the bottom of the solo down here? What does that door take you to? Oh, right. That's just. That's where Barb keeps all of her bourbon. Okay. Okay, I don't know what Heidi's saying right now. She just started it with not to creep everybody out. Hi, everybody. Okay, let's see here. I need to put the phone down for a second. If I do this. So enjoy the view of the ceiling. It's a good thing I'm so good with heights. Not. All right. Oh, I hope this is rated for.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm such a little nervous Nelly. Gosh, there's Barb down there. Okay. So now we're up here, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see anything, but this is how. These are where all the solo pipes are. Yeah, there's a wig. You can kind of make it out. So all the solo pipes are behind this door. Yep, they're talking on a chat that John needs to get back in here and make a video of all this.
Oh.
I'm so offended. I think I'm doing a great job.
You are.
Thanks. John will do an awesome job though. Anyway, so that was a quick view of the solo pipes. Up here, these are some of the, these are the, so we, on our base, lowest pipes, the 32 foot, how many actual 32 foot do we have?
We have one, and it's actually a result.
Okay, so the rest of the 32 foot that we have are actually not pipes. They are computerized speakers. And in fact, you can see those right here. Yeah, man, turn it up to 11. Look at that. Look at that speaker stack. Many people don't know this, but Barb actually comes up here late at night on Tuesday nights and pumps Iron Maiden through these bad boys. Okay, enough of that. Let's see. I'm gonna have to put the phone down for a second so I can get back down without injuring myself. Hold on, everybody. Where's a good place for me to put this phone? Here.
Not getting these.
Barb's spotting me, by the way, if anyone's wanting to know. All right. Yikes is right, Jenny. Okay. There we go. Mary Hansen wants to know, how does this not get dusty and full of spiders?
That's, I don't know. It's really quite clean.
Yeah, it really is.
Amazing. The only thing that gets back in there are miller moths.
Oh, those miller moths. Those miller moths are everywhere these days.
Yeah. In particular, like to climb into the organ pipes.
Oh. So I'm going to just take the tenors and the basses that sit up on this perch area here, and the choir know this area well. But for the rest of y'all, getting a better look here at the great pipes. And again, most are made of varying metals, but you do see some wood ones, including these on the side. Those are indeed pipes, and they do play notes. And kind of back through there, down where it's a little dark underneath that wood piece, is where you would find those solo pipes. You can almost kind of make out the shutters back there. So that's where I kind of took you guys before. And then we could do the same thing, but we're not going to. Over on the swell division, we could take you inside the swell. But that's, yeah, very exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the laptop for a second before we wrap this show up. Kind of check if there's some other questions to be had. Okay. Okay, everybody, we're back at the laptop. Just kind of checking a couple questions here. There's actually a lot of not so serious questions going on here, if you can imagine that. Yeah, right? Okay. Peggy Gonder wanted to know how many total pipes again?
4,000. Let's see here. 374.
4,374 is the rough count, give or take. Kim Kirkwood wanted to know, what are the little bows tied around some of the pipes?
It's to keep them upright.
To keep them upright.
Yeah. When I started out with this pipe, you might be able to tell that it's kind of leaning. It's of a very soft, lead is a soft metal. And organ pipes made of lead sometimes have a tendency to go one way or the other. So that was actually part of the work when we had the organ rebuilt, was to straighten up some of those pipes, get them back into better shape.
There you go.
And we have yet to do that with the chancel organ. It has some really sad looking things in it.
But that's coming.
Yep.
Kate Williams wants to know, would it be uncomfortable if someone played the organ while you were in the choir
If you
chamber?
were playing quietly, it wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
With the full force, it would be,
Yes.
yeah.
And in fact, the organ builders / tuners / maintainers, because it's the same group of people, have left back there. We saw
Yes.
a set of noise canceling headphones, noise reducing headphones that probably take it down by, those look like they're serious business. Probably takes it down by 20 dB or so. I think, Mark is wondering if there's a machine or pump or contraption that is blowing air pressure. How come we don't hear that machine?
You didn't hear it when we went into the choir division because I could hear the air.
A little bit, yeah. It probably doesn't come through too much on the Zoom. But it's still, when you consider all of the air that's moving through it, it's still pretty soft.
It really is. The blower for the back organ here is down in the basement. And you really don't hear it when I push the on switch other than the air coming into the reservoirs that we have up here.
Yeah.
So it's relatively quiet, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we miss singing in the loft too, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, so with our remaining, we'll call it 10 minutes, quiz time for those Mont viewers on the call. How many organs do we have in this building? Nancy Getzinger writes in right away, 3. Kate writes in right away, 3. All right, you guys are show-offs. Let's go find the other organs, shall we? We shall. Here, let me turn this back on. And we'll go all, what was that movie? Oh, Blair Witch Project. I'll just kind of walk around like we're in that murder suspense movie or whatever. So we are now exiting the loft. The internet might cut out here a little bit as we go into this staircase. I guess we'll go this way. And yes, we will take you to organ number 2, which was built the same time organ number 1 was built, right?
Yes.
So, the pipes for this organ reside up there. And Barb's turned the light on up there, so you can kind of see in a bit. Oh, maybe we'll poke our heads up in there real quick. And Barb actually, you might not think that you hear this organ much, but you actually, when we're actually having church in here on a Sunday, you hear it every Sunday, because Barb can play these pipes from the console way up there. She can activate these pipes, and oftentimes she has these pipes coupled, we talked about coupled before, with the main organ pipes, And it helps our congregation with congregational singing, because as we all know about the speed of sound and how far the distance is from those pipes up here to these front few pews in the sanctuary, that by the time the sound would reach these folks in the congregation, it would have happened already like a half second ago. So by using these pipes, these folks that sit in the front can actually hear the sound at the same time that people in the back are hearing it. And that helps us with our congregational singing. Now, if you just want to play these pipes, you could do that from the back, but there's also this console that's hidden back here. And this thing, I presume was also built by Reuter, is that right?
Yes.
Although this was built by the Reuter Company of East Germany. It's made with the finest in Iron Curtain 1960s technology. Yes.
Yeah.
But here it is. And what do we got here, Barb?
This. Got it. A really beautiful flute, a principal sound, 2-foot flute, and a mixture. And up here, more flute. A reed stop called a basset. I have no idea why that is named that. And a pedal.
That question's been hounding me for a long time, too.
Dear, yes. So here is, here's what this sounds like, all by itself.
Nice. And we can tell that the sound was pretty good because Marilyn Kraft wrote in saying, thank you for playing that.
You're welcome, Marilyn.
Why don't, if the door's open, why don't we go poke our head in and see the pipes for this real quick?
That's actually a pretty impressive amount of sound for a 12-rank organ.
Okay, so we're going this way. And up these steps. And if you ever wondered what was behind this door, it isn't just where we put bad confirmation kids.
Are all their pipes in front of the shutters because the positive is unenclosed.
Yeah. So there you go, and you can see a couple mitered ones. And this is about to undergo a pretty serious renovation, and a lot of stuff is about to be added to that organ thanks to a gift that is still renaming. Yeah. All right. So that's 2 organs. Let's go find the third. So I'm particularly fond of this next instrument, Barbara, because this is the one I get to play
Right.
when we are doing our Grammy Award-winning duo. That's right. Big man, little organ. Little woman, big organ. Let's see here. Stand by, and I'm going to flip this camera around. And here we are. And this is the positif that lives in the chapel most times. And it's just a single manual, no pedals. That's why I get to play it. Oh, we should have, I guess we can open it up in a second here, but Barb's gonna tell us a little bit about this instrument quickly before she plays it. I think it's in the, I can grab it in the back. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's just the It's a great, not so little, but little instrument. Let me see if I can. Oh, I'll show you the back of it here. So some wood pipes there on the outside of the case. And then there are indeed shutters for this. Can't operate it from a pedal. Kind of have to, let's see. Maybe I'll have you do that. While I'm holding the phone. It's always a little weird. There you go. So we can open those doors up. So obviously that lets a lot of sound out, but there's also this shutter here that you can open and close. Yeah.
And the blower is down in the bottom there.
There you go. And this is the most recent organ of ours, built in 06. Is that right? No.
It's 2009.
2009. I just saw a question pop over. I think it might have been Nancy Getzinger wondering how much this organ cost. Do you remember? Anyway, I'm going to flip this around. Oh, try that again. Gang, I think we're about done with our organ tour. yeah, it's about that time to call it a night. Thank you, Barb.
Yes, you're welcome.
Wasn't that awesome?
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this. Yeah. And yes, cheers to us. I like that. Almost like being there. Yeah. We do miss you guys, that's for sure. This was fun, though, to be with Barb on a Thursday night, without a doubt. So yeah. Hopefully now you know a little bit more going on when you watch the Montview at Home videos. And boy, it's going to be fun when we're back in the space and hear you play that organ in person. Just a quick thank you again to, we did want to take this opportunity. We were kind of mentioned it offhandedly when we were talking about the pouches, but that pouch project cost somewhere in the order of $150,000.
Yeah.
So, and some of you that donated that are on the call tonight. So we certainly appreciate that very much. And yeah, this was fun. So join us next week for our last sacred music seminar with the incomparable Ike Sturm. He is the director of jazz ministries. Can you believe they have a jazz music ministries position at St. Peter's Church in New York City? He's going to have a lot of wonderful things to share with us. So that will be he's a sweet man too. So really looking forward to that. So I think for now, this is Barb and Adam signing off, right?
Yes.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.